For 3.5 billion years, life and death have been inseparable. Every creature that lived has eventually perished. But what if we could break that cycle? With advancements in AI, genetic engineering, and cryonics, the question isn't if but when. Could science, or even faith, hold the key to reversing death? Let's dive into the mind-blowing possibilities of life after death. What happens after death? Throughout history, humans have pondered the mystery of the afterlife. Almost every religion and culture has developed its own theory on what awaits us beyond the grave. Some envision an eternal paradise, others a torturous hell, and some believe we just get recycled back into the world. In Christianity, resurrection is a central belief. The resurrection of Jesus Christ is one of the most pivotal events in Christian theology, and many believe that all humans will be resurrected at the end of time to face final judgment. According to Christian doctrine, the faithful will be granted eternal life in heaven, while others will be, well, let's just say they won't be booking a one-way ticket to paradise. Meanwhile, Hinduism and Buddhism take a different approach. Instead of one grand resurrection, these religions believe in reincarnation, the idea that our souls are reborn into new bodies after death. Your next life depends on your karma. Do good in this life, and you might come back as a king. Mess up, and you might return as a mosquito. The ultimate goal: liberation from this endless cycle, reaching either moksha, Hinduism, or nirvana, Buddhism, a state of eternal peace, free from suffering. Ancient Egyptians, on the other hand, were so obsessed with the afterlife that they made death their full-time job. Their elaborate burial rituals and mummification techniques weren't just for fun. They believed preserving the body was crucial for the next world. Pharaohs were buried with food, weapons, treasures, and sometimes even their servants, because of course, why wouldn't you want your entire staff following you into the afterlife? But while religious and philosophical beliefs offer comfort and hope, modern science is taking a radically different approach to cheating death. Science versus death, the battle of the ages. Science has always been a bit of a party pooper when it comes to religious ideas about the afterlife. Instead of discussing eternal paradise, scientists have been busy pushing the boundaries of mortality. Thanks to advancements in medicine, life expectancy is at an all-time high, and fewer people are dying young. But what if we could go beyond just living longer? What if we could come back after dying? That's where things get interesting. Cryonics, the ice cream freezer approach to immortality. Cryonics is the process of freezing the human body, or just the head, if you're feeling economical, in hopes that future technology will be able to revive and heal them. The idea sounds simple: die now, get frozen, wake up in a few centuries when doctors have figured out how to fix you. In theory, this is like hitting the ultimate pause button on death, except no one's sure if the play button will ever work again. One of the first people to undergo cryonic preservation was James Bedford, an American psychologist who was frozen in 1967, and he's still on ice. To this day, he remains in a temperature-controlled capsule at Alcor Life Extension Foundation in Arizona, alongside over 180 others hoping for a future comeback. Since then, hundreds have followed, with companies like Alcor and the Cryonics Institute offering cryopreservation services for those hoping to get a second shot at life. The price? A cool $200,000 for whole-body freezing, or a budget-friendly $80,000 if you opt for just your head, because you know who needs a body when you can grow a new one later. The catch: nobody has ever been revived yet. At best, we've got a lot of really cold corpses waiting for science to catch up. And let's not forget the logistics. Freezing is one thing, but thawing someone back to life without turning them into a human slushy is a whole other challenge. Plus, there's the minor inconvenience of a power failure, because waking up to find your frozen body turned into a puddle is not exactly the kind of resurrection anyone's hoping for. Imagine investing your life savings into cryonics only to be undone by an unpaid electricity bill. Talk about an ironic ending. Genetic engineering, editing our way to eternal life. If cryonics is too unreliable, how about genetic resurrection? Scientists are already working on de-extincting species, like the woolly mammoth, using DNA recovered from frozen specimens. The idea is to rebuild extinct creatures by combining their genetic material with that of a close living relative, in this case, the elephant. Sounds like a Jurassic Park sequel waiting to happen, right? But if we can bring back mammoths, dodo birds, or Tasmanian tigers, what's stopping us from doing the same for humans? Theoretically, if a tiny piece of your genetic material is preserved, it could be used to grow a new version of you. Whether this would still be you or just a biological copy is a whole other debate, but science is getting dangerously close to making this a reality. The ethical dilemma of resurrection. Okay, let's assume we crack the code of bringing people back to life. That still leaves one very awkward question. Should we? If people could be resurrected without their consent, what would that mean for personal autonomy? Imagine going to bed in 1925 and waking up in 2125, only to find that flying cars are real, people have chips in their brains, and your great-great-grandkids have TikTok dances dedicated to you. It would be the ultimate case of waking up on the wrong side of the bed, except the bed is a century-old cryo chamber, and your body is suddenly worth a fortune in scientific curiosity. And who gets to decide who gets resurrected? Do billionaires get first dibs? Will historical figures be brought back just for fun? Could someone revive Adolf Hitler just because they felt like it? And what about ordinary people? Would they be able to afford this second chance? Or would resurrection become yet another luxury only available to the elite? And let's not even start on overpopulation. If nobody stays dead, where do we put all these people? Mars, the moon, an artificially built floating city on the ocean? Or would we just keep stacking people up in massive skyscrapers, turning Earth into a never-ending human sardine can? And then there's the question of resource consumption. If nobody dies, but people keep being born, would we run out of food, water, and oxygen? A world where death is optional might sound amazing, but could we even sustain it? Then there's the darker side of resurrection. What if people could be brought back against their will for reasons beyond personal choice? Imagine governments using resurrection as a tool for warfare, reviving fallen soldiers to fight again. Or what if criminals could be resurrected just to serve endless life sentences? It raises a whole new level of ethical chaos. Are we ready for a deathless future? Right now, death is still winning the fight, but not for long. Whether it's genetic resurrection, AI consciousness uploads, or some mind-blowing technology we haven't even imagined yet, the question of reversing death is no longer just philosophical. It's scientific. If resurrection becomes a reality, human existence itself could change forever. No more goodbyes, no more funerals, no more gone too soon. Instead, we could be reset, revived, or recreated indefinitely. Life wouldn't be a one-time journey anymore. It would be a loop, a series of endless resets where people could live, die, and return as many times as technology allowed. But with great power comes great responsibility. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this mind-bending journey into the future, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And hey, if you've got thoughts on resurrection, drop them in the comments, just in case your future self wants to read them.